Hello everyone and welcome back for another Pearblossom press video. I'm Cassie Trask. Today we're going to be playing with these brand new shaker domes. I think these are fabulous. They're a little bit thicker than if you just wanted to put this inside of a card and kind of send that off. You might have to spend a little more postage to do these, but I'll tell you what, they are fabulous because they go so perfectly with the halo lights. And so yeah, they fit right inside the halo light. It goes right over the top. And that way you've got like a double interactive. You have a shaker that also lights up. So I've got the 2-pack. Obviously, there's also the halo light multi-pack that has 2 halo lights and several of the 1 lights. But look at that. It goes in there so beautifully. So I decided, since it's the day before Christmas, Christmas Eve, I'm going to make a shaker ornament. Yep, that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to use this stamp set from Trinity Stamps called Ninja Man. I just love that cute little image, and we're going to put a holiday haya on the top of it. I'm going to grab out this circle die set. This is the Clean Cut Layers Circle Set A. Go through your stash, find your circles, and find the ones that would work for this ornament. I kind of had to play around a little bit with it. And we'll go into it. So I'm going to double up my speed here. I've got the halo light. I am going to just trace around that on this blue cardstock. It's almost like a navy, but not quite. And so I'm just tracing around that with a pencil, and then I'm just going to use my scissors to trim that out. The reason for that is I just want a blue background, and this was the easiest way for me to kind of come up with that. You play around, you could figure it out. Of course, it does not have to be perfect. That is absolutely not perfect, but I'm going to have that covered up by other pieces. So I just wanted that circle back there. If it bothers you, just, and you don't like that it's not perfect, I would just use another circle die and you'll be fine. So I do have some Express It cardstock, which is really good for alcohol marker coloring, and I've inked up my little Ninja Man with some Blackout ink by Ink on 3, and I'm going to use my Olo markers. I'll put those up on the screen, and we're just going to easily color him, and yeah, he's super cute, and the whole set is adorable. I've used this set several times this season for cards and obviously ornaments now, and other pieces as well, tags also. They're just so cute. And now, like I said, this is obviously the day before Christmas Eve, so it might be a little late for a project like this. However, it's never too early to start for next year. So, because I always find, no, I've got a whole year, and then I'm not in the Christmas mood. So I don't necessarily start things until maybe November, and then I'm scrambling around trying to get all the projects done that I had in my head before. So if this is something you like, you're interested in it, I would highly suggest go ahead and get those things. Get them now. Get started, because then they'll be all ready for next year, and you can just sit back and relax with a cup of tea or whatnot and enjoy the season. So so I'm just going to continue coloring him. I've got some dark oranges that I've done for the little gingerbread man himself. We're bringing in some red grays for his little outfit. And I don't know what you call all the pieces. That might be what, a gi, I think, potentially. And so I've got the red gray 5 and red gray 7, and then we'll just blend those out a little bit. And then for his eyes, I'm just going with a cool gray, a very dark one, and then we are going to bring in some black. No, it's a warm gray. I did warm gray 7, and then we also did black. Typically, I stay away from black just to completely color things in, but I am going to use it for some shadowing here. And then we've got some green for his little tree on his scarf, or whatever you call that, on the top. And then we also are just going to bring in a little bit of shadowing for around the candy cane. So he's kind of dark, kind of reminds me of like Deadpool if you're a fan of any of that stuff. But I think he's adorable. And then we've stamped out our holiday haya. And then I'm going to bring in some mint tape to tack these down, and we'll run this through my die cutting machine. And then all of our elements will pretty much be ready to start working on this ornament. It's kind of funny, I don't even have a tree up this year, which is super sad, really, when you think about it, but we won't be here for Christmas. So yeah, I didn't want to do that. We're going to go visit our kids. And so putting up a tree just was a little bit of extra work that I didn't have it in me this year. So here we are. I'm pulling out my green and my circles, and I want to do just like a ring that's going to go around the halo light itself on the top. The other circle will go on the back. However, once I started putting this together, I am going to have to do a different circle for the front. We're going to have to do a different ring. So I will bring out those circles once again and recut that. I do have some gold mirror cardstock that we're going to use for the top of our ornament. And I'm doing something very simple. I'm just trimming this down to be like 1.5 inches by 1.25 inches, or maybe a little less than that, I'm not sure. But it's going to cover the mechanism, and that's really what I need it to do. So now we can start doing assembly. So I'm going to glue down my little ninja bread man to the center of my ornament, and then I'm also going to start working on the back. I want to do the back entirely before anything else. So I'm bringing in the Pearblossom press stamp set where I can stamp my little handmade for you with the light bulb. And then I'm going to sign my name on it, and I'm also going to put the year. And then we can attach this right to the back of our little blue piece of cardstock using some liquid glue. And then now I'm going to go ahead while I have this going, and I am going to attach the back for the top part of the ornament as well. But before I do that, I'm going to bring in some twine, and I need to do that because I need that twine to be in there already before I just start making the ornament. So we're going to take some double-sided adhesive now that I've trimmed down my twine. We'll put a little bit of that at the top, peel off the release paper. We'll stick down our twine, and then I am going to use another piece of double-sided adhesive right over the top of what I've already done, making sure that's in there really good. Peel off that release paper once again, and then just to reinforce that that isn't going to go anywhere, I'm using liquid glue, and we'll cover up the twine that's back there as well. And now we can put the top part of our ornament, or the back part that is the top of the ornament down there. And now we can start doing the actual assembly of everything else. So the dome has to go in there first, but check it out. There's our halo light. They're so easy to put together. Just put the battery in there. And then I've grabbed out a couple things from my stash of stuff that I use for shakers. This is just some glitter. I wish I'd have used a chunkier glitter, but this is good. And then I'm going to bring in some of this. It's like some little sparkles from Miss Ink Stamps. Did make a mess with that. We'll clean it up. I do suggest using like maybe your anti-static powder tool on the inside of the dome. I wish I had done that. That'll make if you do use glitter, it'll make it so that it doesn't stick quite as much. But I'm going to peel off the release paper of the dome, and then we can stick that right over the top. And it's actually a really good adhesive. It's not coming off, which is great. And then that means our shaker bits are going to stay in there very nicely. I'm using some liquid glue, and then I'm going to adhere down my halo light over the top of that. Everything works great. And you do need to have a good foam tape. So my suggestion is, of course, the world's best foam tape by Pearblossom Press. This stuff is so good for so many reasons. You've heard me say it before. It's repositionable. It doesn't gunk up your scissors, which is super important for this part. Now you'll notice around the halo light, it is very thin. So I'm going to take my world's best foam tape and I'm going to cut it into thirds. Yeah. And typically you cannot do this with regular foam tape. It's going to gunk up. It's not going to cut right. This stuff cuts like butter. It absolutely cuts like butter. Doesn't stick to my scissors. And it's fabulous. And I'm just going to work it around the outside of the halo light. Of course, my glue hasn't completely set up yet. But I'm going anyway. And if you take off the release paper, yeah, you can just work it right around. So again, we'll just cut this into thirds. It isn't folding in on itself. If you've ever tried to cut your foam tape in half down the center, or if you've ever tried to cut it into thirds like this, you know it's a bit of a problem. So this stuff is great because it's not only good for the halo lights or any of the lights, but it's also really great for shakers as well. So now I'm looking at my circle, my ring, and it is, that inside circle is just too big. So I'm going to recut this. I need that circle on the inside to be a little bit smaller. So in order, to make it a little bit thicker so it covers up all the foam tape and the lights and everything else. So there, we've gone ahead and put that down. And I'm going to need one more tiny piece of foam tape on the side by our battery, and I'll peel off that release paper, and then I can stick down the top part of the ornament. Now this does leave my battery still accessible, so if I ever need to change that out, I can absolutely do that. But we're not done there. I do bring in that Pearblossom press stamp set one more time, and I stamp out the word push after I attach down our little holiday hiya to the very bottom using some glue. But yeah, I'm going to bring in that Pearblossom press stamp set. We'll stamp that out, and then we're going to trim that down really tight with our guillotine trimmer, and then I can attach that down to the front and top of the ornament over the push button. And once that's done, that finishes off our cute, adorable little ornament. And now I want to make more. So it shakes, it lights, it's amazing, and it's a little ninja bread man. So it's got it all. So if you like this video, I would love it if you hit that like button. Definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And big thanks for liking, subscribing, and using my affiliate links. That all helps me keep continuing to produce videos. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you soon.